Hi everybody, welcome back to my little kitchen, and today I'm going to make the 48-hour chocolate chip cookie, and they are just really good. You have to make toffee, which is a little bit intimidating, but I did it one other time and it turned out pretty good. So we're going to make them gluten-free, of course, and we're going to get started here. I've got a stick of butter in my saucepan, and to the saucepan we're going to add a cup of brown sugar and a teaspoon of salt that I already have in here, and we're going to add that, and you're just going to keep stirring until it gets I believe it's 300 degrees with your candy thermometer, but I honestly did not measure it last time. I just let it get nice and thick, and then you pour it onto your cookie sheet. So it does take a few minutes to get this done, and you just constantly stir. Okay, so I've been stirring here for, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, and it's starting to get a darker color. And we're gonna put it onto our baking sheet here shortly, and then it goes into the refrigerator to set up. I think it's probably ready there, and we'll just see how it turns out. Here we go. And you just want to pour it onto, it doesn't seem thick enough, actually. Okay. Well, let's see what happens here. Oh, well, maybe it is. And you just spread it out. Looks like it does have too much butter in it. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and put it in the fridge and see if it turns out. So I have 2 sticks of butter in my pan, and now you have to brown the butter. And it gives the cookies a delicious flavor. So you really just have to turn the heat on to about medium heat. And it's already started to melt, of course, but you're going to just keep stirring until it turns brown. And then we're going to add an ice cube, and you got to be careful because it kind of pops. You have to add the ice back to it because it loses so much of its moisture. You can see that it's bubbling here, but we're still waiting for it to turn a light brown color. So we're just going to keep stirring here. Okay, I think my butter is browned. You can kind of see those brown little bits there. So I'm going to move it off the fire here. And we're just going to add an ice cube, and it's probably going to pop and that because it is really hot, but we want to add that moisture back there. So stand back. Okay, so while that butter's just kind of getting that ice cube incorporated back with it, we are gonna go ahead and get this is 1 3/4 cup of dark brown sugar into the bowl, and then we've got 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar, And then we're going to add a teaspoon of kosher salt. a teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of espresso. It calls for 2, but I'm just going to put 1. It calls for 2 teaspoons of salt as well, but I'm just going to put 1. And then we're just going to get that mixed in really good. We're gonna put our browned butter in with this mixture here. Those little bits in there. It really smells good. It smells nutty. Mix that up really good. Calls for 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and I'm just gonna eyeball that. Now we're gonna add our 2 large eggs. Those stirred in really good. Now we're going to start adding our flour, and I am using the King's Arthur gluten-free measure for measure flour. It's already got the xanthan gum in it, and I think this is what I used last time, and they turned out really good. So 2½ cups of that, and it was a half of a teaspoon of baking soda that we had put in, not a teaspoon. So, but the recipe will be listed below. I'm just gonna start mixing that in. So I have all my flour incorporated here, and I have taken my toffee out of the refrigerator. And it looks pretty good. I was a little worried about it, but I think it's going to be okay. And I'm just going to break it up here and put it into a Ziploc bag and break it even into smaller pieces. So I used 2 tablespoons too much of butter. So it needs 6 tablespoons of butter, not a whole stick. So that was kind of a problem, but I think it's going to be just fine. I've used a paper towel to kind of get that extra butter off the top. And it looks good. Okay, so I've just broken up my toffee here using a back of a spoon, and I'm just gonna add that to my cookies here. My cookie dough. So you're just gonna, I can break up some of these bigger pieces here. Okay. Just want to stir that in. And then the recipe calls for 6 ounces of cocoa chocolate, 50 to 70% cacao, and this is 60. And so this is a 10-ounce bag. So we're probably going to add most of that. It's the Ghirardelli, so it's a good chocolate, of course. Get those incorporated. Okay, so we have our cookies ready to refrigerate, and I got 11 of the bigger cookies with the ice cream scoop, and 21 cookies of just the regular cookie scoop. So we'll be back in 48 hours to bake those off and show them to you. Hi, so we're back, and the 48 hours have gone by for the 48-hour cookies, chocolate chip cookies. And so I've baked them off, and I only baked 6. That's the nice thing about this recipe. You can kind of just bake what you want and keep the rest in the fridge until you're ready for them. And it's Alvin Zhou, I think is how you say his name. 48-hour chocolate chip cookie. He also has a YouTube video on Tasty channel. So there you can see it. I think if I'd have spread them out a little farther, they would have been bigger when I baked them off, because maybe the gluten-free flour doesn't spread. But you can see the toffee in there. I'm just going to take a bite. Definitely needs a glass of milk. It's so delicious. The brown butter just makes it such a rich cookie. So give it a try. I think your family's gonna love it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.